So rest in peace, Dole Merchant, right? Dole Merchant, right? Get it? Like Skull, but Dole Merchant, right? She's gone, okay? Most people probably ain't gonna want to play with her because in the beginning, she was like probably the strongest at holding a 3-gen, very boring. And then they say, okay, we're just gonna rework her power. Her drones are just like very annoying, right? And now in the 8.3.0 patch, she no longer has that 10% hindrance on you if you get, detected by the drones. Especially like if you're trying to run from her and chase, and then she's getting faster, she's scanning you. Now she no longer get that haste effect, right? During a live game action, she still has that haste, but just enjoy for just a little bit, right? Because they pretty much took that away. She no longer, when she's scanning you, get haste. And I'm not sure if she's still undetectable. I think she is, but her being faster already with her lunge, I'm sorry. As a survivor man with 8,000 hours, these hits are already ridiculous in this game. If you don't blame it to ping, whatever, but I swear to God, these hits, these lunge attacks, especially during the window, especially against Skull Merchant. Now, granted, I will say this. She was only chosen 1% of the time. And I'm very good at looking at stats and numbers and, trying to understand, because I think a lot of times, just in general, not even just in a world of DBD, people lead with their emotions and not logic. And they don't go off facts, they go off fiction. So I just want a lot of people to understand. Please just listen to this. It's just the audio version. I know it's been a long time since I've done one of these, but I just need to get these more loved. Please hug this episode, kiss this episode. Tell them that you care about them, because I want this to do really well, right? I will do these all day. I have no problem. It's not that I'm being lazy. I like editing videos, but sometimes if you're just like at work, again, I keep saying this. If you're just at work or you're in traffic, sometimes you just want to listen to these, right? Somebody being like highly loud. I don't know what they're throwing away, but please hurry up. It's like they know I'm recording. Like, what are you like what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing? But yeah, so I'm only gonna talk about two things, mostly one. Pretty much already talked about like Skull Merchant, but I really want to talk about Distortion. If you want to like find out more about the patch notes, please, you can just look it up. You can just go to the X, and follow the devs. I hate calling it X. I want to call it Twitter so badly, but it's called X. It's so weird. They should have just kept it as Elon should have just kept it as Twitter. I don't know why, because it's such a household name, but. Follow them on X, follow the devs at, Behavior and Dead by Daylight, and you can look at the patch notes yourself or just watch videos. They've done a lot of, good for Survivor. I'm sure a lot of survivors are very happy, especially for like the casual players. But the one perk that I think a lot of casual players disliked that kind of got reworked, and I don't know if you want to call it a buff or a nerf. I think for a lot of casual play, to me, it makes no difference. I rarely use Distortion. There's times I'm going to tell you why I've used it. Okay, so here's the thing. For a casual player who used Distortion, right? I already got Skull Merchant out the way. But like, we don't need to talk about somebody who's already dead already. Rest in peace. With Distortion, yes, there's a lot of immersed players, immersed gaming. Meaning there are a lot of survivors who are new. You have to think about that you guys are new. Yes, Distortion is originally Jeff's perk. And I don't see a lot of Jeffs in the game. But every now and then I'll play with him, play as him. Like we hang out and talk all the time. A cool dude. Like I went to high school with him, all that, right? So, but Jeffrey, as I like to call him, he has Distortion, and it worked on a token system. So, you would start off with 3 tokens. This is live right now, right? You can start off if you play as him right now, or if you already have this perk unlocked across all survivors or whatever, or your favorite survivor, you will have 3 tokens. And anytime your order would be read by the killer, it will use up a token. And so if you have 3, let's say the killer has lethal pursuer, right? Start of the match, you will know it because one of your tokens would disappear. So you will have, instead of 3, you'll have 2. And then the only way you would get a token back is if the killer has mostly an order reading build. Let's say he has barbecue and chili, he downs somebody. Okay, then now you're down from 3. You have 2 tokens, then you have 1 left, right? And then let's say he has nowhere to hide, now you have none. So the only way you can get these tokens back, whether you are out of them or you just have 1 left, is you have to be in a killer's terror radius for like 30 seconds, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But here's the thing. Survivors who like to run builds are like, because Yeah, you're gonna have survivors who are new and scared, and like their life is actually in danger, right? So they have to actually, you know, use urban invasion, which I don't like the flack that urban invasion players get, or because I used it just to be funny or just like do my locker builds, and all people ask for you too many hours to run an urban invasion. You know, I do whatever I want, right? But you have a lot of survivors who they'll, you know, if I wanted to, like me, I know the game like the back of my hand. So if I wanted to hide all day, I could literally do that and never get caught. But then again, what could happen is I can hide in the killer's territories without being chased, which is the thing I'm gonna talk about, like with the changes, and I can just get my tokens back. Cause that's all you would have to do is just hide, and then it's like getting it's like Pebble, right, or Diversion. You know how you have to, I don't think they've changed that since, but you know, if you wanted to get you have to be in the killer's territories. Thank God you don't have to be in chase to get that. Thank God you don't have to be in chased. Cause that also goes off of I don't think that goes off a token. I think it's gonna work a little bit like how the new reworked distortion. It's not gonna be where like it's about aura. It's just about you being in the killer's territories. But anyway, if I wanted to hide as a newer survivor or a scared survivor or a selfish survivor, and I just want to hide and get hatched, I can just start off the match. 3 tokens. I can constantly gain them, hide near killer territories. I can have quick and quiet on. I can have distortion. I can have iron will. I can have all of these things, and it pretty much never gets seen. And what can end up happening, and I was watching this YouTuber today, something that was very interesting. He said a lot of the times I'm forced to go after certain survivors again, and it seems that's tunneling because one of their teammates could have distortion and I just don't see them. And that's a very good point. I never looked at it like that. And the reason why that's a very good point is because I want to be very clear here. Like, from the killer's end, from the survivor's end, okay, you're being a total dick. But if you're going after me constantly. But if you're playing against a survivor, let's say you're in a 3 stack and that one survivor is solo queue, and you don't know what he or she is running, they could have distortion. They could have in a complete immerse build the entire game. And you don't know this. And you see them if you're on hook, but you know, you can't be like, hey, the killer, they're, you know, I'm not saying you should out them out, because if you team up with the killer to get your teammates killed, that's reportable, right? I just want to be very clear. Slugging, camping, tunneling, that's not reportable. I know people like to do it and you get nowhere. That's not reportable. It's not a bannable offense. But body blocking your teammate, working as a killer, trying to work with the killer and all that stuff, killer working with survivor, all of that is reportable. So I just want to be very clear, right? But a lot of times you can't, it sucks because this is how a lot of our games are played. Now, I will say this. You know, Gen Regression was like completely alone mostly for like some time, at least a couple years ago. Like the main build that killers would use. People rarely use chase builds. Like, yeah, you'll see Brutal String, you'll see Bamboos and all that stuff, but people, you know, Pain Res is still like top 10 used perk in the game and all that stuff for killer. You know, other stuff, you know, Corrupt Intervention. But what has also arisen for killer is aura reading or aura reading perks. So you have the Nowhere to Hide since what's that one dude name came out? Nowhere to Hide, the Night. I think that's what Night, right? Please, I think that's what Night. Nowhere to Hide. And then you have the alien perks where it's like the aura reading and all that stuff, and it's, you know, Lethal Pursuer since Nemesis came out. Bro, you want to talk about a free perk? You want to talk about a free perk? A free validation? You start off the bro, you start off the match and you see the survivor's aura for like what, 7 seconds or so, or a certain amount of seconds. You start off the match seeing that. Now, the last time I checked, because I want to be very clear here, because people always talk about, oh well, survivors got all these free stuff. It's like, I want to be very clear here. There's a reason why I use distortion, and a lot of people who actually understand, not just for hiding. See, people, I think what they do in this community is, it's like there's a lot of cope to get what they want or try to validate what they want to do. And the reason why I said it is because, okay, you have a lot of casual survivors, which a lot of them, again, the kill rates still show that y'all not losing y'all games. I know it's a boring play style to hide and all of that stuff, but hey, it's also, metas to me is pretty boring on both sides. But usually one side try to combat the other. So guess what killers try to do? They try to do something to slow down the gens, which are gen regression perks, because survivors do use a what? Proof die and deja vu and all these other stuff. They use a lot of stuff, especially if they're playing in Swifts where they have communication. So what do killers try to do? They try to slow down the gens. But guess what? I want to also talk about this too, because I don't think I talked about this in like my last video. I talk about it a lot. I just want to be very clear here. Hold on, give me like 1 second. Actually, more than 1 second. I don't know why I say like 1 second as if I'm actually telling the truth. Give me like 1 second, because I just want to bring up this one stats on like what they've done 2 years ago in the 6.1.0 patch. Because when people talk about, and this is not about distortion, I get that. I know I'm way off base. I just want to talk about what they've done to Survivor when it comes to just like gameplay design and mechanics. And I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I'm just gonna talk about with the gens and stuff. Generators take 90 seconds for a single survivor to repair. Was 80 seconds. So I want to be very clear. Just that, like Survivor have gotten gutted for life. I believe in this game. I don't know if they're ever going to change it, but they got gutted for life when it comes to just like gameplay design. I'm not going to get into how Survivors got, like we get less distance after a hit. Base mechanic, that means no perks, no nothing from killer or survivor that give us less distance. I can see if a killer had a perk, they gave us less distance, then they could just choose to not use that perk or not, right? Or at least they'll be giving up a perk slot to just go out of their way to, just because again, we know a lot of killers don't run chase builds as much as they run gen regression and aura reading. Those are the meta, right? But now gens take 90 seconds on average. Now, if you are a new killer or a new survivor, you don't know that it took 80 seconds before. Now I heard, well, they give y'all 70 seconds now on to go away on the hook, to die on the hook or whatever. But they just did that. Like they just did that. Like 2 seconds ago. Like they just put that. Like mechanic wise, you get like blood rush kicks in faster than it ever has before. Like bloodlust shouldn't even, in my opinion, still be in the game. That's just my opinion. But anyway, before I get off the rails, I just want to talk about distortion. So distortion, and I apologize, I go on my rants. Distortion now, right, is work on a token system. 3 tokens. Anytime a killer runs an aura, or anytime your aura is red, or it makes you scream, your aura is red or whatever. I don't know. Anytime that happens, your aura gets red, your tokens get taken away. Now they got it where if anytime your aura is like, let's say 8.3.0, it's active. It's active. Anytime your aura is red though, it goes away, but you don't get it back unless you are in chase with killer. And the chase has to start. Like the killer has to, like the chase music and all that has to start. And I think they said like on, let's say, I think it's 8, 6, and 10 seconds. It was like live that your scratch marks and your I don't know if it shows the scratch marks now. I'm not sure if it shows it on the newer one, but I know like right now it's like if you got like on the lower tier, I think it's 8 seconds. Second tier, it's 6 seconds, 8 seconds, and then 10 seconds if you have it on the highest tier. So I think if you have it on the lower tier, it's 8 seconds. If you have it on the second tier, I keep saying it wrong. Yeah, I'm just, you know what? Cause see, I'm doing this live. I'm not even about to guess. Like, why am I about to guess? Yes, I'm doing the video. I'm doing all of that. Let me just look at distortion real quick. Distortion. I just want to make sure. Okay. So, so this is different. It says blocks your aura from being red, suppresses the creation of your scratch mark. I'm trying to see where does it show the actual one. And the reason why I'm bringing this up because it says, see, any other time. Okay, I got it. Yep. So right now, and I do apologize, but obviously this is live. It is 6 seconds during the lowest tier, 8 seconds if you have it on the green second tier, and then it's 10 seconds. That's currently on the third, or like on the 8.3.0, right? They're gonna have it for 8 seconds, 10 seconds for the second tier, and then 12 seconds. So you're just gonna get your aura suppressed. It blocks your aura from being red, and also suppresses the scratches of your scratch marks for like 12 seconds. This is obviously if you have it on that, and you have to be in chase to get it back. So no longer for survivors to just be hiding the entire time in the corner. Now I still think it's pretty good to use. I still think it's pretty good to use and still have it. I just think that, the reason why I think a lot of people also use it is because if you go to, I'm finna go to the website right now, bro. I'm finna go to the website right now. I can go to Killer's Perks right now. I'm finna go to it. Perks and builds. Let's go to it. So the number one use perk, I want to be clear on both sides for Survivor. Number one use perk right now is Windows Opportunity. I think that will never go away for the way it's working now. It will never go away. Lithe is second. Resilience is third. Adrenaline is fourth. Deja Vu is fifth. Iron Will is sixth. Sprint Burst, Dead Heart, Bond, Unbreakable is 11th. Let's go to Killer. Killer, most used perks. Scourge, Pain Resonance. What a surprise. Pop Goes a Weasel. Okay, that's another gen regression perk. Pop. Barbecue and Chili, that's an aura reading. Lethal Pursuer, that's aura reading. Corrupt Intervention, that's a slowdown. Nowhere to Hide, aura reading. Surge, slowdown. Bamboozle is a chase perk. Grim Embrace, and Sloppy Butcher. So I just want to be very people running what they want to run. It's just that I don't like that, like, people don't understand that, hey, we're gonna try to combat meta. That's what we're trying to do. And what I've read now, I don't even think I even read Distortion one time. And I mean, obviously Distortion is pretty much not gonna be the same anymore, because you probably have a lot of casual players who are scared to get their auras read. But I'm not mad at the changes. I rarely run Distortion. I rarely run it. I think it is a perk. I think any perk that stops meta, or like, I don't like my aura being just read for free. I just don't like that. I think that's a free perk. People are gonna now use Lethal Pursuit even more now, because now they don't have to worry. Here's the thing. Okay, Survivor's gonna have to come out and get chased, so they're gonna have to play the game. They're gonna have to actually be interactive with the killer. That's fine, but I don't like that. It's just, okay, if I'm going against the Ghostface, he can just find me, and he's one of the most frustrating killers to go against. Obviously, he's weak in chase. Once I know where he is, it's just the free stalk. He's the only killer I can look at. I'm looking at you, my boy. I can see you. You're not sneaking, but I have to look at it in a certain way. I have to kind of angle my camera, but I'm looking at you. That's what the devs do in this game. That's what the devs do in this game. They would take a killer who is ass and say, we're gonna make his power stupid and ridiculous, in the sense where it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to, like, killer mains, because they want to use it and win, and the devs want to try to make it work so they can have other killers being used. So we're gonna try to buff them in a way that just doesn't make sense, and then just get the free hit. And the reason I don't like this is because if I'm a stealth killer, yes, why wouldn't I want to use a free aura reading perk where I can just, Lethal Pursuer, I can see where my victims are. I can just clearly see where they are and get a free stalk, especially those survivors who aren't even paying attention, right? Which I will say, Alert is a very good perk. Now, Alert, if you want to say Alert is a free perk, sure, you can say that. Because anytime a killer kicks a gen, breaks a wall, breaks a pallet, you can see their perk. You can see it. They may end up. Don't be surprised if that end up being a rise. Because I'm telling survivors, if they want to, you can use Alert, and you can almost always see where the killer is. That's just my opinion. If you want to do that and say, okay, I want to use Alert, so I can always just kind of get a sense what the killer are, and then I can use, you could use Bond. I'm just saying, you should be able to see, like, because killers use aura, so why can't you use aura? And are you supposed to just run out into the open? Hey, killer, here I am. Just come one shot me. Like, I'm not saying that. And mind you, I'm a survivor who I hate stealth killers. They are the worst to me. So if you want to talk about survivors being immersed, I hate immersed killers. I hate the killers that gotta sneak up on you. Chase, be a Billy, be a Blight, be a Nurse. Give me those, and even though I don't like going against some of them, give me those before you give me a Wraith, before you give me a Ghostface, a Pig that gotta sneak up on you, and they gotta give me that. See, we're not all in solo. See, solo is so crazy because it's like not everybody plays in Swifts, yo. Like I main solo queue. I grinded to P100 2 years ago. Probably the first in solo queue to ever do it, but at least one of them if I'm not. To get the prestige 100 in solo queue. I do nothing but solo queue. I don't jump into a game, y'all, and just be like, oh, I hear somebody saying, oh yeah, bro, yeah, it's a Wraith, oh, it's a Ghostface. Because guess what? That pretty much ruins the fun for the stealth killers, doesn't it? Does it kind of ruin the fun a bit? That like you just automatically hear that is a it's a stealth killer. Like imagine I'm a stealth killer. I'm trying to get a sneak up on somebody and somebody already give it my location. They know who it is, but you gotta realize at least for me, it's hell. Any killer I go against, they all seem like they're S tier in solo queue. Not because of their chase mechanic, because a lot of them, especially if you know what you're doing in chase, I don't have an issue in my chases. I know my check spot, and especially with the MMR I'm at, I know that most killers probably don't understand check spots. They don't know, or or they may get lucky on the play. But what good does that do for my team if they're gonna go down in like 15, 20 seconds, or they're hiding and they're not on gens, right? So I kind of just want to talk about that. I just want to be very clear. I don't mind the distortion nerf. I think you should be more interactive in the game. But I still think that people in this community, they want this game to be more than what it really is. Like they really do. And I get that like it's the competitive mindset. I'm one of the most competitive people you will know. But I know this game has strong limitations to it. You know? Like I understand that and you gotta think everybody does not play this game to be a try hard and a sweat on killer or survivor. There are killers who play pig and they just want to get booped on booped to snoop. Are those games boring? Yeah, I want to die and go next in game. But it's like y'all, not everybody plays. Some people just get off work and just be like, I just want to play the game. I'm one of the only people that will go to work and never miss a shift in almost 2 years and still grind DBD. But I don't have kids and I don't play any other game. Not everybody's like that. They'll jump on DBD. They just want to play. Now, am I saying that it's up to the killer? Am I saying killers should go easy on these survivors just because of that? No, play however you want. If you want to slug, tunnel camp, whatever you want to do it. It's your life. But I don't like that y'all try to impose like, oh, well, let's try to buff these killers because again, just show me the kill rates, dude. I don't want to hear about no giving up. I don't want to hear about any of that stuff. Before Skull Merchant, before Knights was in the game, before, all these anti-loop killers and boring killers and the way they did, the kill rates was still in favor and win rates was still in favor of killer on average. Because I think, and I can tell that most of y'all don't play Survivor for real because there's no way y'all think that Survivor is that easy to play. As killer, you can make many mistakes. See, it's one of yous. It's one of yous. But as killer, you can make 1,000 mistakes. As a survivor, you can only make one mistake and you're done. I promise you this. You can only make one mistake. And they just take that one busted, weak leg of a survivor who doesn't want to do gens because they want to be immersed all day and hide in lockers. Think about it. I'm in chase. I do pretty well in my chases at least 90% of the time. But it's so fun to just look up and see that nobody's on gens because people are hiding in lockers. And you got to look at it from their perspective. They probably just got the game. Since the devs decided to make the game strictly based off kills and escapes and nothing else, not about how long you run the killer. Oh, you run the killer for 2 minutes? Oh, okay, we're going to put you with other survivors that know how to run killer for 2 minutes. They don't do that. They put you with, hey, did you die? Okay, I ran the killer. I did the hardest job. I occupied the killer time as much as I could. While y'all should have been on gen. Should have, could have, would have. But y'all don't. I die. I get camped with no ed. Y'all go on to better games because y'all escaped. I get lower MMR players. I go down. See, this is what kills me about this community. Then they always talk about your MMR. Like, well, maybe you just have low MMR. And then they always try to link it back to skill. You can't just say, you can say whatever you want, man. I just realized, like, in this community after 4 years, there's no, like, there's just people you just cannot convince. I can show stats and data that their favorite killer mains back up and support, and they'll still say nope, that's not true. Nope, the devs are hiding. I had people literally telling me the devs are hiding the real stats. They're hiding the real stats. And then if I ask these killer mains, like, hey, so let me ask you this question: do you watch a lot of killer players? You'll say, oh yes, I do. I watch, Spook and Jukes. I watch Otofu. I watch Hexy. Whatever. Okay, odds, all these people, right? Okay, do you see them getting 3-man outed on occasion, on often, or does it happen sometimes? Oh no, they usually get a 4K or 3K at least. If it's a good game, maybe a 2K at the end, which means they do not lose. Okay, so let me ask you this then, killer main. Are you killer? Yes. Okay, how many hours do you have? Maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000, lower hours. Okay, killer. Do you get 3-man outed often? Do you lose? Like, I don't care. I don't care how it happens. I don't care. I don't care if they called in sick as a survivor. I don't care if they missed a bus and they couldn't make it to the match. I just want to know, on average, do you get 3-man outed? No, I don't. I usually get at least a 2K, at least. Okay, so you're not losing your games on average, right? Because there are killer mains. It's like, if I don't get a 4K, I'll lose. I don't count that as if that's the same as a loss, but it's not. So I can just literally just walk somebody down my logic and just ask them, like, do you lose at all? Like, when the last time you got 3-man outed? I can't even remember, right? Can't remember out of your 500 game win streak that you got 3-man outed. Now, does that happen? Could that happen? Yeah. There was a time where MMR actually worked in DBD. Yeah, they got the soft cap where almost anybody get in, right? $20 admission, you can get in at high MMR. But I mean, I just want to be very clear here. If you know that there was a time where MMR actually worked, do you know how many people will not be playing this game as killers? There were killers who left DBD at a point in time. Longer queue times, right? Longer queue time, but people didn't want to play because then they couldn't go on a 500,000 win streaks as Trapper. You know how imagine if I play with people every day with my hours in solo queue, they would just kill it with DC. Because I would have people who knew who would be the weak link. And if you had a weak link, guarantee you get at least ran for at least 2 minutes or a minute and a half, and people are on gens. You couldn't just chase me. But no, I got, Sandy in the corner over there, kicking it, chilling, hiding in lockers. Okay, maybe she's scared, okay. But that's my point, is that, like, y'all only see what y'all want to see in this community. At this point, I'm just rambling. I got like 2 minutes that I'm gonna do. I normally do it for I try to do like 40 to an hour, but there's not much to talk about because I feel like sometimes it's the same regurgitation, and it just shows you like. And I would love to I wouldn't mind having like a debate with people. I wouldn't mind it because I think if you understood like probabilities versus possibilities, you will understand that we're saying the same thing to a degree. It's just that one is looking at the general sense, which is me, and the other, which most people are, they're looking at what they want to see or what they don't pay attention to. I know that most people are not going to be 8,000 hours plus gamers, 5,000 hours plus gamers. This probably isn't the only game that they play. They play other games. Their parents. This game is all ages at this point. Okay, so I understand that people want to have what they want to have. I'm not one of those people that's like, wow, okay, well, Nurse is a really good killer, but if you go against the highest MMR survivors or comp scene, they'll get 4 outed by Survivorman, which means the game is clearly Survivor because at the highest level. But it's like, see, the flaw in that argument is that you don't understand that the game is not just focused on the possibility. We know that give me the best killers in the game. I would love to compete. Not saying that I would care to ever sign up for Scrim, but if it was the MMR where it's like, if it actually worked, I wouldn't want to go against these people all day knowing that, okay, it's just me that I'm just getting, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do all the work, and then I got survivors and there's no communication, because I understand that. Even at the hours I have, I still try to learn as much as I can from this game. But it's the fact that like I'm getting paired up with people who obviously are brand new and they don't know what they're doing. And that's why it's so, and then to get BM'd by the killer on top of that. Like a killer would leave me alone and zone me out later, especially when I had like when they was showing our prestige 100, because you got to think, there are people who still think that your prestige means skill. They or to a degree they think this. So if they saw my prestige 100 in the lobby, oh, I'm not gonna chase you, I'm gonna save the best for last. I'm gonna save the best for last on some Stabiffles type shit, where I'm only gonna go after you last because you might be a juicer. And I didn't like the expectation. I didn't like it from the survivors end or the killer. Cause it's like they look at you like it's like wearing Legacy, but it's worse, because Legacy you don't have to ever show that you're a Legacy player. You don't have to ever show it. But you it's like your icon. No, you didn't have your prestige 100 icon above your head the entire time in the game. But when people saw that in the lobby, everybody can see like, oh wow, so you must be able to run us for like a whole hour. Like you must be able to like carry us to victory while we do nothing. While we just have distortion. Okay. So I just want people to understand how those things work, and how those things move, and how people do things, how people are, how this game is, dude. You, at the end of the day, and I do apologize if it's like cutting in and out, but sometimes this, I don't know, this computer's pretty old. I just want to say this with distortion. I think that I'm not mad at the changes. I think the only thing they did was just take away the tokens to make it where the survivors can't just hide and get free, tokens, without being in chase. And they could just constantly get those and just hide and immerse, and they could change. So, but yeah, I appreciate. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment sections, and let me know if you are a fan of this change. Did you play as Skull Merchant? Did you like to change the Skull Merchant? Do you think that you're gonna see less of her? She was chosen 1% of the time, so now she's pretty much not gonna. I mean, her kill rate's probably not gonna be as strong as it is now. It was at 70 before. Like, keep that in mind. So having like a 3% chance of like beating her was like very real at this point. So, but hey, I'm glad that I did this. I'm glad I had something to talk about, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on a flippity flop. Don't forget, and listen, please like these and share these, and please just be respectful. I understand this is like a touchy thing about like certain killers and Skull Merchant. And I don't think I'm getting a lot of backlash with Skull Merchant because people just like her and stuff. But I think a lot of people will be for these changes, not Killer Main so much, who mained her or played as her. But I do think that it's definitely a different change that a lot of us. It should be interesting to see how it goes. So. But if nothing else, have a blessed day, stay safe, and peace.